and my request was that he was able to use his own towing company that was on scene.
Right, and I told you, no, that's not accurate.
Correct.
Our understanding with a written statement, legal opinion from our corporate counsel is that under 4 circumstances under MCL Code 257, 252D, Section 1, letters A, D, E, and K, a crash vehicle falls under one of those 4 letters. That vehicle must be impounded by the police department. So that's what I tried to explain to you guys. So the information we're receiving from Mr. Clickers, regretfully, I'm going to have to disagree. There's other information that he has put out online that's 100% inaccurate, including the fact that he stated in online video that his daughter was not at fault and never issued a citation.
She wasn't at fault. She wasn't.
That's sir.
Chairman, can I have a couple more items on mine, and then we can go with that?
I would just like to answer this, and if you want me to wait, I'll wait. And we heard Mr. Clicker answer that. Well, of course she wasn't. She wasn't driving. The individual who was driving was cited with a hazard violation, and they also cited with a misdemeanor, which means he could have been arrested, which means we have to tow the car. Period. The officer made a mistake.
All right, folks.
Can I just have very few more things. One, would you agree that the current policy that was voted in the towing committee files, though, does not state about impound? It says that the owner-operator, that is the most recent policy, and would you agree that that's what's been discussed in the council meetings, that if your tower shows up first, you can tow? That's been the general consensus, am I correct? So my phone call was relayed and requesting that, just that. Mr.
Just for clarity, these are 2 different instances.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear.
That's why I said I wanted to discuss mine.
I got one question to answer.
I'm not done yet. I have the floor. Thank you. The email that was sent and the Facebook message that was sent, and I'm going to read it. How can you call the mayor, call the chief, and beg to have your family's car towed home, then offer an employee a tip, which will be returned by check because the drivers are not allowed to take bribes? This after you complain about area towing, you should be ashamed of yourself. Maybe we should all have the mayor's and or chief's number. I am sure this will go over well on Tuesday and on one of my first podcasts. So what I'm going to address here, one, I'm going to finish. There is no bribe. I was not seen. So let's make that very clear. This is a very serious allegation, and I'll address that. Okay? So this is improper. I asked, as I would for any person, any resident that called me, I would have done the same thing. Yes, I think everybody should have the mayor's and chief's number because we can't answer what the appropriate towing policy is, what the rates are. Yeah, I think everybody should. Because when they have a complaint, I think that's who they should call. Because the Attorney General's memo says, if you have a question about the towing rates, you should call the police department. None of us can answer it. We get differing rates. We can't get copies of invoices to see what was being charged. So yeah, I would say I agree with that. Maybe we should all. You're accusing me of abusing my power, which was absolutely 1,000% false, and I'd be very careful about making that allegation.
I'm not.
No. Mr. Hall,
Can you
you're
go
recognized.
talk?
Mr.
Can you
Hall.
go talk?
Mr. Hall is recognized.
Eric Hall, 9555 Holland. I found out that there was a foyer out there, so I went and reported it. It's pretty disturbing. I'd like to go through the council, maybe ask corporate counsel. When you give your opinion, is it okay for emailing it to a resident. And everybody on Facebook loves it. How does she know so much? I know how. I don't know if you guys were aware of all these emails, but if you like a copy, I paid $100 for them. I'll share them. But I really think that we have an ethic violation, if not a civil case against the former councilman. It's outrageous with some of the stuff you've been reading here. I would read it to you, but they say your eyes only. So he knew what he was doing. I would hate to say this. If you guys did know about this and didn't take action on it, you guys hit us. Okay? If you did know about it, you didn't take action on these emails, this is very disturbing. We put a lot of faith in all you people up here to handle the lawsuits behind closed doors, to keep it behind closed doors, come back out when it's done. Yeah, we can find out about it. But the day of that we get the information, we just email back out to someone else. I mean, am I wrong? Am I the only one that should be frustrated here? I mean, people that we looked up to, that we put on council, just send it out and laughing faces. Mr. Dice is doing the tone and court council's dancing. Yeah, it's great. It's a joke, but it's all confidential information here.
Mr. Hall, you've got 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll wait the next 3 minutes here.
Any further open business from the council, or from the audience? Any further open business? Anybody that has spoken once, I will recognize a second time for 3 minutes and 3 minutes only. Mr. Hall.
How would I, as a resident, file an ethics violation? Because apparently I need to do it.
There is a procedure. Unfortunately, the council has not filled the ethics board at this point in time, but if you could get with Mr. Plato in terms of what the procedure is to file an ethics complaint.
Mr. Plato, could you tell me during my 3 minutes so I know where to go now?
Through the chair, Mr. Hall, the ethics violation, I believe, is available online, and it describes in there the procedure, which I believe the initial complaint would be filing with the city clerk.
I have probably 20 confidential emails here. If any one of you council members would like them, I will print them off for you and bring them back to you for free. I wasted my $100 on this nonsense. But I will print these off and bring anybody that ain't got a copy of them for free. It's a shame that we got certain people around here that claim to know it all. And how you know it all? You know? $100 worth of paperwork's how you know it all.
Any further open business? Sir, please come forward.
Edward Clicker, 16249 Easter Road. I would like to know what I lied about.
All right, sir, if you have any comments from the council, you can certainly do that, but we're not going to have any side,
I know.
you're addressing the council.
I was called a liar at this podium, and I want to know what I lied about. I mean,
This is not a court of law. We're not questioning folks back and forth. Do you have any, so your statement is you didn't lie.
I didn't lie.
But say your piece,
Okay.
not try to question somebody else.
The officer at the scene said the car could go to my home. My buddy owns that whole mall, that corner is on. I could have parked it there. My house was less than a mile away, half a mile away at that. And I could have drove the car there. Now, the officer said I could have a tow truck come and pick up my car, but area tone was there within minutes of the officer being on site. So there was no chance that my AAA could pick up the car, or Mike Gosh, or Dick Martin, which is a uncle of mine. So I do have family and friends with towing businesses. I own a tree service, and I am a contributor of this city. So how can anybody compete when area tone is there within seconds, and it takes at least an hour for AAA to get anywhere?
questions, unfortunately.
This is your guys' job. You guys
Well,
give
no,
these guys
what I was going to
answers.
say is, fortunately, I've had the same experience in South